Hello, and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. Queen 2, number 2. That's the book. That's the book. Is this the real life?
You bought it this week.
Yeah, I remembered it. There you go. Do you remember Queen? I remember them. That's remember. Unless you watch the movie, in which case your memory is faulty, because it's wrong. So yeah, Queen 2. Wow. Huge leap forward compositionally. It is the perfect storm of heavy rock and structural progginess, which makes it very accessible because it's got, you know, Sabbathness, a heaviness. But there's all sorts of stuff going on. There is a white side and a black side, the two sides of the album, which we don't get obviously on a CD. So you just get a load of songs. Brian May, Freddie Mercury, pretty much. Accessibility and depth. Still has production values. Obviously, it's a Queen album, so you've got things like the backwards bit of Ogre Battle coming in and all that, but it's much more about composition. It's much more about the structure of the songs rather than, wow, the sound of this, what's that? You know, easily my favourite Queen album by a country mile. If you only listen to this album, you'd think, oh yeah, I want to hear more of their albums. You wouldn't think, yeah, they're probably a singles band. I need to buy the greatest hits. And you certainly wouldn't consider them glam rock, you know. It's prog gym, but not as we know it.
Succinct. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If we were to do a list of albums that you should listen to,
yeah, it would be this one.
It would be this one.
Yeah.
You know,
some people will be surprised by that, but it's usually people who haven't heard it.
Yeah, it is great. I mean, apparently it's sort of, oh yeah, this is definitely the successor to Queen 1 and all that. I don't hear that. I hear something much different. Yeah. Not quite concept, but with the two sides.
Yeah.
You know, it does. It's much
Rhye, Fairyland, whatever it is. Stuff.
It's much more albumy than the last one, which was an album. Mm-hmm. We agreed on that, didn't we? But this is much more of an album.
Yeah.
And there's some great stuff on it. I mean, there's so many different styles going on. It is. I'm not going to mention Led Zeppelin because
it doesn't sound like Led Zeppelin. No, it doesn't.
I don't know what this link with Led Zeppelin is.
Nothing other than their famous 70s bands.
Yeah,
and one and two.
Okay, let's choose a rock band, and you've gone with Sabbath. It is sort of prog meets Sabbath,
heavy, with
maybe a little bit of Who for the operaticness of it, or the drama of it.
People do cite Led 4, but Led 4 doesn't really have that. Not really. I wonder if there's a sort of a imaginary Led Zeppelin.
I wonder if it's because, you know,
it's more like Queen.
You know, all the country stuff that Plant's into,
the Led 3
stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's that, because obviously Freddie Mercury's side is the fairy tale thing again.
Oh, the mythology.
Yeah, the mythology type.
Yes.
I wonder if there's that.
This is much more involved than that, actually. The Plant mythology thing is Gollum the evil one, and the Ringwraiths riding black, and that's it. It's just two lines from Lord of the Rings. That's it.
I think that's probably where the Led Zeppelin things come from. You know.
Oh, okay.
Because you know, they talk about J.R. Tolkien and influence on this. Too much Tolkien.
Yeah, but he makes his own.
Yeah, it's his own world, isn't it?
Yeah, but the whole thing is inspired by a painting, the Fairy Feller's masterstroke. And you think, oh, okay, some painting. So you look at the painting, you're expecting like landscapes of like the Shire or something, and it's like, what's this? It's a painting by someone who's having a nervous breakdown. Actually, it is someone troubled, and the idea is it's busy. There's too much going on in the painting, so it's obviously someone. Their neurons are all firing in the wrong direction. They're trying to make sense of the confusion in their brain, and that's what inspired this album to make it just everything happening at once. That's a very prog idea.
Yeah.
You know? And at the same time, their sort of attitude to attracting attention, I'm not going to call it marketing, is very unprog. You know, the thing about Keep Yourself Alive wasn't a hit, and it took too long to get going. That was the problem. So the kitchen sink thing of Seven Seas of Rhye, that the first 10 seconds does everything. That's not very prog.
I mean, these are intelligent guys, aren't they? I mean,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah. They've got plans, and you know, they're thinking about what they want to do and how they want to sculpt their sound. Mm-hmm. So it is more. They obviously want to shift albums, and they've managed to do it in such a way that is, well, I say managed to do it. They didn't actually manage. I don't think they sold very well.
I think he
as
did.
far as Queen goes.
I think, well, it's only the second album. I mean,
Yeah.
the sort of mythology of it is that they didn't have a hit until Sheer Heart Attack, but it was got to number 5, and Seven Seas of Rhye was number 10 in the singles chart. That's all right.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, that's from Queen standards, so that's...
Yeah, and in the US it was like 49 or something, but it's only the second album, so,
Yeah. Crap title, I mean...
Yes, the working title. The working title was Over the Top. That was the thing. Let's do this. Just do, and I think fans consider it. It's like too much. It's over queening.
Yeah.
It's the most Queen because it's but it is strange that the only thing that's not over the top about the album is the title. Is like, I think that is a Led Zeppelin thing. Maybe they picked up in the press. Oh, that's a good parallel. Let's do that then, which worked because now people think, oh yeah, Led Zeppelin, Queen. That's the 70s, isn't it?
Early 70s. So, yeah, great album actually. Really, really surprising.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, listen to it, and you will love it. If you like, our sort of channel, that's
the one. Yeah,
yeah, that is the one.
And we were giving it away, but yeah, that's easily my favourite Queen album.
Yeah,
easily. And if I put Queen on, I'll put that album on.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Queen 2. Oh God, I gotta listen to that, and then it just.
Oh my God,
this is good.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
isn't it? I mean, I think it was in the book, and you know how they use the term heavy metal, and you think, is it heavy metal? And they even Ogre Battle. What's a bit thrash? Kind of like when John Lord said, "Speed King, it's like speed metal." Is it? But there is a thing that the intensity there, and this Queen 2, only Queen 2, had a huge influence on the album, massive influence on the album. I mean, Queen fans will say, "Oh, they influenced heavy metal," but they were influenced by the original metal. But that's kind of the pathway to new album, much more faster, intense stuff. And that's Ogre Battle, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. What I like about it, I haven't really thought about it, but you think Queen, you think Freddie Mercury, this great front guy. I watched the Live Aid.
The real one.
Yeah, the real one recently.
Just watch the real one. Don't watch the pretend one.
Yeah, and when you think you mythologise something, we watched it a few years ago, didn't we? I haven't watched it since then. You think, I've mythologised just how good. No.
Yeah, it is actually that good.
He's got a Wembley Stadium.
The world was owned.
Yeah, he's got a Wembley Stadium in the palm of his hand, and you think, it's all about the showmanship and all that. And actually, no.
Yeah. And they're all writing. Yeah. They're all contributing. But then that's the thing, that's juxtaposed as performers and as players as well, frankly.
Yeah.
They've got one of the best vocalists in the world, whatever, but I've never rated Brian May as a player. Choose my words carefully there, as a player. As a composer and as a producer and all that stuff, obviously, but as an actual player, he's got a special guitar that him and his dad built. not the playing.
Oh, you do look at, actually, if you watch it, the band. I mean, the focus is on Freddie Mercury for a reason, because everyone else is incredibly boring.
Roger Taylor. He's such a good drummer. Is he? He's our drummer, and also John Deacon is in the band.
Yeah,
but writing, they're all very important. Yeah. They're all contributing.
Realistically, as well. I mean, I'm not going to go into that. Spoke enough about the live stuff because we're reviewing this album, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I really like it, and I finished thinking I really want to get a vinyl version of this and listen to it in vinyl, and that normally means
Light Side and Dark Side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It normally means that's a good album. If you want to listen to it in vinyl, it's an album. It's a proper album sort of thing. Don't know what else to say really.
Yeah, I mean, time wise, it's one of these things which much later than the other bands. There's bands all the time, I know, but this is a year after Topographic and Dark Side. So you could be critical of their commercial moves and the sort of idea of we've got to have a single and all that stuff. But by then, although both of those albums sold really well, Topographic and Dark Side sold really well in 1973, it must have been quite obvious where things were going. and Dark Side would have already been overtaking Topographic by a margin. and that it didn't mean they had to simplify things, though. That's the thing. This is not a simple album, any stretch of the imagination, but it's accessible. That was a big part of what they were doing, was making it, all this stuff going on, accessible. I hear parallels with ELO and Uriah Heep. I know that's not something people say, but I think the vocals thing. I mean, I suppose particularly with the latter, I'm sure they were influenced by Uriah Heep, but they had much better production, which is a problem with Uriah Heep, made it sound quite silly because it was all and this is, I mean, it is silly, isn't it? It is completely over the top, but it's so well produced by the standard of 73, 74. You know, for not very well known band. You know, that obviously it sounds like Queen rather than sounding ridiculous. But also it's dark. Not just the light side and the dark side. The whole album has a darkness to it. Sabbath influence, I think. That really helps. The Fashionistas were offended. They didn't like it, and the Fashionistas did like the first album. Interestingly, it wasn't across the board like Led Zeppelin or Yes or something. A few months later, Robert Christgau, writing in Cream magazine. Wimpoid, royaloid, heavyoid, android void. Literally gibberish, just words. He's just angry about something. He's annoyed that they're doing a thing that isn't cool, that isn't fashionable, that is musical and awesome. You know. God, I think there's another quote in here. Oh yeah, appropriated the most irritating elements of Yes's style. I don't agree with that, but then it depends which bit of Yes you think is irritating. They have appropriated certain elements of Yes, maybe, but not that stuff. Thankfully, that's good. Whereas I think after this, they kind of won over those trendy people, the trendy London people. Gateway album to prog.
It really is.
Yeah, play people this. First of all, they'll reckon, even if they're very, very casual listeners, if they recognise the Queen sound. That all involved in, and then it's very accessible and heavy and stuff anyway, and really proggy actually. So yeah, it is 5 eggs. That's a 5 egg album.
Yeah,
I would imagine for some it would be 6, but I've never, Queen aren't something that have ever completely won me over.
Yeah,
so it's 5.
I agree.
Yeah,
5 eggs definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that was boring and short.
Boring and short review. Follows the Sun is brilliant. Procession is cool. White Queen, great songs. Ogre Battle, Furry Fellas, Masterstroke, March of the Black Queen as well is amazing. The only thing that limits it for me is when Seventh Seas of Rhye comes on. Oh, it's that famous song now. It's I wish I didn't know it, so it would work better. It almost feels like the album finishes at track 10 and then Seven Seas of Rhye starts. Song's too famous, you see.
Yeah.
The Genesis effect.
Yeah. Put it at the end so people listen all the way through. That's a good game.
Another boring review.
Next week we'll be reviewing...
I'm not sure.
What order are you going to release things?
Queen... next it will be Night at the Opera. Yes, so you've already seen our review of the concert we went to, King Crimson. So yeah, next week Night at the Opera. We're reviewing this in the American Gap and it's a bit confusing, but we're not doing She Heart Attack, but we will. The plan is to do Day at the Races, isn't it? That's our plan. I don't like She Heart Attack, but we can talk about it. Yeah.
So yeah,
cool.
Great stuff.
See you next week.